My name is Abigail, and I am the Programs Librarian here at the Genoa Branch Library. Thank you all so much for being here today. The goal of tonight is to become informed about the candidates and issues you will see on the Ottawa County ballot this November. We all will have the opportunity to hear from the candidates and the representatives speaking about the issues. All candidates on the Ottawa County ballot were invited to participate, as well as representatives supporting local issues. All candidates and representatives will have 5 minutes to introduce themselves and speak on behalf of their campaign and position. After every candidate running for the position has spoken, there will be a short opportunity for question and answer. So I ask that all of those candidates come back up front so we can field questions together. Okay. I've shared tonight's outline with everyone. Feel free to use the outline as a guide for our conversation this evening. On your ballots, you will see 2 state issues. Issue 1 regarding abortion and other reproductive issues, and Issue 2 related to the regulation, legislation, and taxation of adult cannabis use. I have printed legal analyses by the Ohio Attorney General on both of these issues, and they can be found over here on this gray table. Yeah, I did not attach them. They're pretty thick. I also, if you guys are interested in reading the ballot language on that, I did print sample ballots for everyone's specific township, district, whatever you need, okay, where your precinct would be. You will also see 2 proposed tax levies on this ballot. Again, those can be found on the sample ballots. So we do have just a slight change in our outline. Today joining us is our Ohio State Representative from District 44, Elgin Rogers. So I'm going to actually have him go first, and he will just share some information about himself and what he's been doing in the district. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Elgin Rogers, Jr. I'm the State Representative for District 44. I represent Toledo. You all need to work with me on this, okay? So I represent Toledo, parts of Lucas, Wood, and Ottawa counties. I represent all sides of Toledo, north, south, east, west portions, and then I go over to Wood County, okay? You ready? Northwood, Lake, Millbury, Wallbridge, over to Wilston, down to Genoa to Elmore. Right? There you go. This is the result of gerrymandering. So a lot of folks don't know what gerrymandering is. That's what gerrymandering is. It scrambles up the contiguous lines of voters in the effort to make one political party more dominant or more favorable than the other. So I'm originally from Toledo, graduate of Toledo Scott High School, Jessup W. Scott High School, graduate of Kent State University and the Indiana University grad school. I began as going to be a college professor, and so I was a researcher, classically trained political scientist, researching the issues and things, and ironically, my research was about majority-minority districts in state legislatures. Lord knows I didn't know I was going to be doing this. I thought that I was going to be making lines. I really wanted to just make map lines to prevent gerrymandering. So now I end up in a situation where my first position elected was a gerrymandered district, right? God has a sense of humor. So I left Indiana University. I taught political science at Ivy Tech Community College, and I taught for Tiffin. I taught at the University of Toledo. I taught all over the place, and then I began getting into campaigns and elections. I started out, I told people I just wanted to clean up a neighborhood park and put some basketball nets up, and I got bit by the bug. I ran a campaign, and this lady, she saw me, and she came up to me. She's the county auditor. Her name was Anita Lopez, and she came up to me. She said, "How much money do you make?" And it was an odd question to me. And I didn't know how to answer it, right? Because you're always taught not to talk about finances. And so then she said, I said, "Why do you ask?" She said, "Oh, we have a job. We may have a job. Well, how much does the job pay?" Right? She's a great, skillful politician and negotiator. And so she asked me, "How much do you want to make?" I thought it was a blank check. I gave her the number. I didn't hear back for about 6 months. Right? But she ended up running for mayor. But she ended up working for her in her office. I became her executive assistant, which I ran the office as she was running for mayor. Then I was director of education outreach, and I was director of weights and measures. and then I was the assistant chief of staff. So I've served just about every capacity you could in that office, even working in the title and deeds portion for her in her seat. I was her proxy. And then I was fortunate enough to go work for the Lucas County Board of Commissioners, where I was over all the entire portfolio, fleet management properties, including the jail. And I tell you, you don't want to go to that jail. And I'm praying that we get the money to build a new jail, because what people don't understand about our jail is that the Lucas County jail is not a holding, it's just a holding jail. It's not a sentencing jail. So if anyone gets picked up in the middle of the night for whatever reason, whether you're still innocent until proven guilty, we want to make sure that you are safe and that you return home back to your families. So when we think about jails, we often think about we need to punish criminals, and we do. But the jail is just a holding jail. It's not a sentencing jail. And we also want the women and men who work in those facilities to make sure that they make it back safe to their families. So I work for the county commissioners, and then as I was running for office, I had to leave that position, and I became the executive assistant to Lucas County Commissioner Pete Gerken. And so it was exciting again. It breathed life back into me. It was really truly prepared me for now, because we did a lot of development. We have a brand new downtown hotel. We deal with stuff at the CCNO, which is the regional jail. And it just exposed me to a lot of things that we're doing now, gave me further exposure and further hone my skill set. But I was excited to get back up, to go to work for the people with Commissioner Gerken. So I really thank him for that opportunity, and I consider him a friend and a mentor. So now I'm running for office. Well, I ran for office and I won, right? So it was a hard-fought race, and I said to myself, I learned a few things. I learned that in Lucas County, Wood, and Ottawa counties, every county does something a little bit different. In Toledo, they love signs, right? In other parts, they're like, don't put a sign up, right? They'll meet the people. So on the day before Election Day, on July 4th, before the early vote period opened up, we had our signs. We were going to put the signs out at the early vote locations, and then we figured it out. Now, this is the result of gerrymandering. We location in Toledo, then you had to go to Oak Harbor, then you had to go down to Bowling Green. That's a lot of driving. Yeah. Right? And again, it's frowned upon. Yeah, you can do it, but that sign may not be there long. So you learn a lot in this process, and I just want to thank you all for taking the time here tonight. I just want to go through a few slides that I have. I had a town hall up in Toledo on Monday night, just to talk about the district and some of the things that I'm doing. Now, I talked to you about gerrymandering. It's happened again. Okay, you probably read about this in the newspaper, heard about it in the news. It's happened again. So, in next General Assembly, this is the 135th General Assembly that I serve in. Next General Assembly, you'll have a new state representative. You all follow me? It won't be me, but I'll always be there for you as long as I'm in the State House, House of Representatives. I'll be there for you to help work with you and work alongside from you. And also, this is a learning and building process for me also, because no one can tell you, I can't tell you more about your community. You have to tell me about your community and things and the visions that you want. So it's my job to try to work it out and execute.
I'm sorry about that.
So why are you doing that? So last year when I got elected, this is how life works, right? It was a lot of work, as I shared with you. I won on I think it was November the 8th. So I'm like, yes, I got 2 months to kind of just bring my blood pressure down, settle my nerves, and then I can jump in there in January. I got a phone call, and the lady said, I've been trying to reach you all day. I said, well, I was working. And she said some choice words to me. When I call you need to answer the phone. Clearly it was important. And she said, you're going to get appointed next week. And she was moving to the state senate. And so that means that I had to leave my job with Commissioner Gerken. And it was kind of sad, but I got appointed the next week, and here we are. And I got thrown into what they call lame duck session. And lame duck session, I'm happy it happened. I told the voters, told you all, I could hit the ground running, right? Given my experience in government, and not only did I hit the ground running, I was rolling, right? Rolling. So when I got appointed, I was in lame duck session, and all these things started happening. So there's a schedule. There's a schedule of committee assignments, the session dates. So I look at the schedule, it says, nothing happened, nothing happened, nothing happened. You have 24 hours notice. They can give you 24 hours minimum notice and you have to be there. So I plan these things out. I'm gonna cut the yard, I'm gonna do some errands. And I looked on Friday, there was nothing. I looked on Saturday, there was nothing. I looked on Sunday, it's a full-blown schedule. Oh my goodness. And I got in the lame duck session and I learned something about politics. No matter how much you read about it, no matter how much you think you know about it, you really don't know until you sit or serve in that seat. And I say that because, I'll give this example. There was a bill called the Burn Victim Awareness Bill, okay? And inside that bill was all things about bringing awareness about burn victims. But then what happened, there were some amendments that came, and some other parts that got taken out. And it didn't resemble the Burn Victim Awareness Bill. And I had to go home and have a conversation with myself and God. Because there was some ugly stuff in there. I said, wow, who would do something like that? Right? And God gives you what you ask for, right? They say that the joke is that God doesn't give you what you don't want, he gives you what you ask for. So I got what I wanted, and I'm grateful, but it taught me that I had to put another hat on. Things are not straight as we commonly see them and commonly know them. And this is my role in the State House. But one way you must be effective, you have to be able to build allies and friendships across the aisle, and even in your own caucus. So in the State House, there are 99 state legislators. There are 33 senators. So in the 99, so not only do they have the majority, they are called a supermajority. And that's part of why we have the gerrymander lines. And so the Democrats sided with the current speaker. So the speaker that the Republicans had sought out to be the next speaker, he was ousted. Right, so now there was turmoil, right? Because it's all about making sure who holds the gavel, who holds the power, because that determines the agenda, what comes before the body of the legislators. So we have, not only do we have a majority Republican legislature, we have a supermajority. So I serve in the minority, but it's not the minority, it's a super minority, because we don't have 40 votes. You all follow that? Yep. So you have to find ways, if you're going to get things done, you have to find ways to move across the aisle. And I'll just move on to some of the things that I've worked on. And these are the committees that I serve on. And this is my information you all have in your brochures. I'm on Armed Services and Veterans Affairs, Energy and Natural Resources. I'm the ranking member, Infrastructure, Transportation, and Ways and Means. Ways and Means for me is by far my favorite because it deals with taxes, it deals with making the rules, it deals with your pocketbooks. And you have to watch these folks because they're very crafty. Anytime you hear folks talking about the homestead tax credit, you make sure they're not taking your tax credits away, right? You make sure they're not taking your tax credits away and they're not rolling you back. So these are the municipalities that we talked about. This is the district, right? So I live somewhere up in here in North Toledo, and this is what the district currently looks like. These are the school districts here: Toledo, Genoa, Lake, and Northwood. So we have a rainy day fund in this, and so you need to understand this too. So there's something called a local government fund. So when you talk about resources that come into the community or the lack of resources. So during the recession, the governor at the time, Casey, cut the money that was coming to the cities, to the municipalities, right, to the local government fund, and made cities make up that extra money. So that money is sitting in reserves, as they call it, the rainy day fund. Rainy day fund is just what it sounds like. It's for a rainy day. We have so much money in the rainy day fund or the Ohio stabilization fund that you can't put any more money in it. You don't follow that? You can't put any more money in it. So those are funds that should be coming back to local governments such as Genoa, such as Toledo, right? But for something, they're holding on to it. So it's just something to think about. I'll touch this right quick. So right now you have issue 1 before you. Issue 1 is about women's reproductive rights, right? So I just found out, I didn't think about this, but someone came to me at church on Sunday and said, he pulled me to the side, to the side of a retired sheriff. He said, hey man, I'm trying to understand this issue 1 thing. He said, now we just voted no in August, and now they asked us to vote yes on the same thing again.
I said, oh, no. They're two different issues. So issue 1 in August was about making sure, I told you about the supermajority and the superminority. So when the majority makes rules coming out the legislature, okay, it's the law of the land, right, that the governor signs off. So we as citizens, if we don't like what me and my colleagues are doing, you all have the right to petition to overturn it, right? So what the issue 1 in August was saying was that it was raising the threshold where you had to have 60% of the people to vote in favor of the issue to overturn or make it a law. That's nearly impossible. And another caveat or piece that they had in there is that all 87, there are 88 counties in Ohio, that 87 of them, if I'm not mistaken, had to sign off to get it on the ballot. That's nearly impossible. So it was making where the citizens wouldn't have any influence on the laws or decisions that come out of the legislature. So you have a right to vote people in and vote people out. So issue 1 was defeated, 57% to 43%, and this is November 11th, 7th election, the ways to vote. These are some bills that I'm currently working on and that I've worked on. This bill here, House Bill 205, I was co-sponsored. It's about refineries and making sure that the women and men who work in these refineries are safe. Now, this bill that passed the House and it's going to the Senate, and so they're having discussion now. And House Bill 234, this is about Alford pleas. So Alford pleas are when you, hopefully none of us have to experience this, but it's good to know. So Alford pleas are only allowed by the judge and the prosecutor. So there has to be, and the defendant, there has to be an agreement. And the defendant is, in some cases, maintains their innocence, but they say that there's enough evidence here to convict me. So in the effort to get a lighter sentence, right, or not, they take an Alford plea. But in this Alford plea, it says, this is a technical bill. It says that if you say that you're taking the Alford plea, in the current bill as it's written, in the law as it's written, it says you must show remorse. And if the defendant does not show remorse, the judge is allowed to give a harsher sentence, right? So you're back at square one, right? So if I'm maintaining my innocence, right, but I understand that there's enough evidence to convict me. So in this bill, we're just taking up, we're removing that word remorse, right? And when you work with these bills, and I do a lot of work in the community, and in Toledo, there was a young lady who got shot mistakenly during a drive-by, had the wrong person. The person that they sentenced, he took an Alford plea, okay? And this young lady, I went to the school. They asked me to come to the school just to be supportive of the students. The young man that murdered her, right, mistaken identity, thought he had the right car, wrong person, but it was all horrible. He took an Alford plea. And reporting in the newspaper, he didn't show any remorse. It made me rethink this bill, right? So these things are very politics are very personal to me. And but with all the good, there's always going to be the bad, right? So we recognize that. But this is to help make sure that we take that out and give judges more, actually, flexibility, right? Because once you take that remorse piece out, they have more flexibility in the sentencing. Okay. House Bill 285. I'm going to need your help on this if you're for it. House Bill 285 is about nurses. It's about ensuring that our nurses have minimal hospital staffing standards. Okay. I don't know how many of you have gone to a hospital or had a loved one. We all have touch points, but oftentimes hospitals are understaffed, right? Due to unscheduled call-offs or just not having enough people. But this bill aims to remediate that, and it also allows those folks those women and men who are going into the nursing profession, it allows them an opportunity to get a loan to grant. So it'll start out as a loan, it'll become a grant if they stay and work in Ohio for 5 years. So this is a piece of legislation that's very vital to our state. We just saw the decimation of nurses during the pandemic. You all remember pandemic, great pandemic, hospitals were over flooded, right? Who was there around the clock? It was those nurses. Some of them are leaving the field. Some of them are having breakdowns. I had a gentleman call me today. He wants his daughter to testify before our committee on this bill. She ended up having a stroke due to the stress during the pandemic. because of overstaffing and things of that nature. So this is Bill 234, and like all things, make sure you know who your state representative is and who your state senator is, and call and email and write and ask them to support this bill. It's great for all of us. And, okay, I'm sorry.
Wrap it up.
I'm wrapping it up.
Thank you.
And this is the height. This here, I was approached by some alumni from Toledo Scott High School, my alma mater. It's a Central City school. Now, you all heard about the budget here recently, and I'll wrap it up. It's a Central City school. It's underfunded, right? We have a very strange funding model here in Ohio. But here recently, again, our legislature, right, my colleagues in the House and the Senate and the governor, they gave a lot of money, billions of dollars, to charter schools, right? Especially when we have inner city schools that are underfunded. So this is to help this school in particular through license plates. Now, the folks have to buy the license plates, right, in order to give the funds back to the school. And I just want to thank you for your time. I talked about 205, and my name is Elgin Ryder. This is the Boys and Girls Club Student of the Year here. And this is down in Wood County. These folks were turning 90. I met some folks who were 100 years old, which was pretty cool. And this is just my work around town. This is the kid mayor of Toledo. And the irony is when I went to 7th grade, I probably shouldn't tell you this story, but I was throwing beans, right? And my dad had to come to school and give me that talking to. And it was her grandfather's class. And my dad remembers this man, and my dad is 83, and he tells me, he said, "Mr. Jameson's right, you too grown." So it's great to be with the kid mayor. And I love her granddad, he's a great teacher. And this is also our UAW workers who are on strike. Please pray for them, right? Because this affects all of us. I'm not sure how many in this community work at the plants, but when those dollars stop coming from them, this is what funnels and fuels our government. So we want to get them back to work, and we want to support them, and we want to make sure that everyone, the business and also the workers, are treated fairly. And I shared with you all, as I was running, I stand by, I'm going to work for seniors, children, and the women and men who are working to make America great. I don't want to use that word great. I'm working just with the women and men to make sure that America is the country that we know it to be, and that it can be even better. So God bless you all. If you have any questions, I'll be here, and thank you.
Yes.
I know I might have went over time, but this is a beautiful audience.
Does anyone have any questions off the top of their head for Elgin?
I'd like to talk with you about 205.
Okay.
Sometime on.
Absolutely.
Wonderful. So now I will invite our first candidate running for mayor of the village of Genoa. We have 2 candidates running this year with 1 seat open. And I ask that Brent Hudson come on. Houston. Sorry.
So welcome everybody for coming to meet the candidates night. I am Brent Houston, Mayor of Genoa, lifelong resident of the village, graduated in 1998 from Genoa High School, and 2008, 2009 from Tiffin University, degree in business administration. First off, I want to say it's an honor to represent the village, first as a councilman, and then this last year as a mayor. Volunteering and leadership are very important to me throughout my whole life. Started in elementary school, 3rd grade student council, up to high school, did class officer. And once we got into being older, worked as treasurer of the Genoa Athletic Boosters, president of my church finance council, then got into being on council, and then now I'm the mayor. So I really enjoy being in leadership and volunteering my time to do what I can. So I was appointed 2016 March to council. I've been elected 2 terms as your councilman, and this past year I was voted council president, and then when our mayor had resigned, I was elevated to mayor. So that's how I got to be where I'm at. When I first started in council in March of 2016, I was told, hey, we got a problem with our finances. Our general fund was in the negative by $128,000. Now, governmental accounting is different than how you and I do our accounting. That didn't mean that the village didn't have that money, it just we didn't have it in the right spots, and we were losing money out of that where should have been in other places. So I sat down with our then fiscal officer, Julie Van Est, spent many days off from my normal job, my job at the bank, and spent time with her to find ways to cut costs, find ways to bring more revenue to the village, and things, what we can do to move some money around to make our general fund more healthy, so the village is more healthy. After 6 years, I'm proud to say that we're over $1 million difference from where we were 6 years ago. It was quite a turnaround, and I'm just one part of it. Our fiscal officer, our former fiscal officer Julie, was a great part of it, and we had a great partnership working together, and it turned out very, very well for us. Part of that stuff, how did we get to where we are? We, over the last 6 years, we have received over $5 million in grant money for the village. Most of that's going towards our sewer project that's going on right now. We're replacing all the sewer pumps on the outside of the village. A lot of it's going to our parks and then our town hall. We talked to Mr. Rogers earlier about another project for the town hall, so keep your fingers crossed for that going forward. Some things that we've been doing since I've been, in leadership with the village. We started a street paving and sidewalk paving and alley paving program. So I know one of the biggest complaints that I've heard when all growing up was, hey, our sidewalks are no good. You guys planted trees and our sidewalks are our problem. So we have a plan going forward every year to replace some of the sidewalks in town. We got a plan to repave roads every year in town and alleys as well. So, we have about 75%, 80% of our alleys are already paved in the last couple of years. Still a few out there that need to get done. Next year there should be another block or two that's going to get done with a couple of blocks of roads as well. So we've done over $4 million in sewer upgrades. Everybody's heard of the EPA. They are like to visit Genoa as a small little town, say, hey, you need to upgrade your sewer ponds or your pump station. So a couple years ago, we had to do a brand new filtration system in our sewers. That was over $1 million project. So now we're doing our pump stations. That's a almost $2 million project. But as for you guys, we did have to raise sewer rates, but just so you guys know, our sewer rates are still the lowest within our peer towns. You go to Elmore, Oak Harbor, Woodville, Northwest Water Sewer District, our rates are still the lowest out of anybody. Ball's still doing $4 million of improvements. And the jewel of Genoa is our park. When I first got on council, we were working to get that bike path from Elmore to Genoa. Finally got that bike path, a couple years ago. See people on it daily. It's been a great thing for our park. Now that we got the bike path, we're able to secure funds to do a park bathroom. Now, I know all moms in Genoa are going to be very ecstatic when they go to the park and don't have to sit on the porta potty anymore. They can actually use a real flushing bathroom. Also coming in 2024, brand new playground equipment for the kids. It's a project that we've been working on for a couple years with the Parks Committee at the council level, and one thing led to another. We had enough funds, and we were able to secure a grant for $100,000 to get us a brand new playground equipment. So when I started as mayor in February, our administrator resigned and retired. Our fiscal officer retired 2 months later, and our secretary retired 2 months after that. So boom, boom, boom. I had to replace all of our leadership in the administration office. Just happened they were all about the same age, they were all looking to retire, and So I think we did a great job of creating a new team at the village. With former mayor, now Administrator Tom Bergman, taking over as the new administrator. Tracy Overmeyer, she from Lindsay, Ohio, right now. She worked for the village of Elmore, but she was in the clerk of court's office for Sandusky County for 30 years. She comes over to us. She's got a ton of experience, not afraid to call down to the state if she's got a question, and she's not afraid to rattle any chains down there to say, what do I need to do to get this done? And then the last person was our secretary, was Jen Cable. She's done a great job. She's been a stay-at-home mom, for a lot of her career, but gives her time to, drop her kids off to school. She comes and works, pick them up and go home. I mean, we got a great team now, and we want to continue what we've been doing to make Genoa awesome. So, closing, I just want to say, I'm big on leadership and giving your time. Those are the things that I like to do. So I've been in a continuous leadership position for the village for the past 7 years, and we'd love to continue to lead the village. When November comes up, November 7th, please vote Brian Houston for mayor to keep improving Genoa.
Thank you, Brent. I will ask you step back up here after Ernie is.
No problem, I'm
Yep.
gonna go ahead.
Okay, so up next, our other candidate running for the mayor of the village of Genoa is Ernie Sanchez.
Who's been present? That's nice. First, I'd like to thank the Genoa Library and the citizens of Genoa to be letting me be part of this forum. My name is Ernesto Sanchez. Of course, I'm running for mayor in Genoa. My family has been in Genoa for 3 generations. I raised 3 daughters. My wife and I graduated from Genoa. And I ran a successful business, Ernesto's Mexican restaurant, which you all, most of you know. And I felt that our family restaurant reflected the values of the village. We offer family atmosphere, good food, and family fun. We supported community schools, businesses, athletic teams, young, high school, and adults. Many people with their families would come and enjoy the food and atmosphere that we provided. We made folks feel comfortable, treated them like family, and I'd always felt Genoa had the same type of feeling. I did leave Genoa to pursue other business opportunities, but my family circumstances had me return to Genoa. Our daughter Rachel was battling cancer. My wife Sharon and I were here to assist her with her health. Upon my return, my daughter encouraged me to reconnect with all of my hometown friends and businesses. Upon my return, she advised me to get out and get involved. So I did. But in my journey to rediscover Genoa, things just seemed different. Many of my friends shared their concern over the changes in Genoa. I got involved in homecoming, Kiwanis, and other activities to support the village of Genoa. And through these involvements and reconnecting with the people of Genoa, I was encouraged to run for mayor. We have many things in common. We are a proud village and proud of our family origins, traditions, and values. We want Genoa to continue to thrive by attracting new people and business to help our growth. As your mayor, I want to be the voice of the people. I feel that an environment has developed that has excluded many people from the process. I want to install faith, trust, and transparency in our village government. I am committed to making Genoa a great place to live, to work, and to have a business. Our city council and I must work together with local businesses and people of Genoa to continue making our village a gem of this area. I have mentioned in my campaign, it's not about me, it's about all of us. My hope with your support and input, we'll continue to see Genoa grow. I want Genoa to be a place where we can be proud of being part of the community. We can tell our families and friends what a great village we have here. In conclusion, if elected mayor, I plan to work on the following. We must work hard at creating transparency with our government to better involve you, our citizens. We must work hard with our business community to listen, suggest, support ways to keep them thriving. We need to develop citizen forums so all residents have an opportunity to express their ideas and concerns to make Genoa a better place to live. We must develop a 3 to 5 year strategic plan as a roadmap for our goals, which can all support and continue to keep search for government funding and outsource, outside help to, keep Genoa safe and a better place to live. We have our elderly who have stayed and supported the village because of their love and dedication. We need to let them know that they are still a part of a vital part of our community. We have our veterans. We need to show them how much appreciation we have for their service. We must have conversations with our Genoa Police Department to include the Outer County and Township enforcement agencies to keep our citizens in a safe environment. And also applaud and support our emergency services. Genoa is rich in diversity. The diversity is part of the fabric that makes we all are as a village. We should continue to be open, make Genoa a place where everyone is welcome. I want to be your mayor. Thank you for your time and consideration.
Is Brent back there?
Yeah.
Okay, wanna come on up?
Right now?
Yes.
Sorry.
And we'll field any questions. Does anyone in the audience have any questions? Okay, well, I guess we will move on. If you have any questions, I'm sure that, oh, sorry, Susanna, go ahead. I didn't see your hand.
I guess this question is for Ernie. Brent and the mayors before him brought a really good path to where Genoa is today. And granted, you know, that takes time. It takes leadership. It takes somebody being very, very dedicated. It's hard work. It's not fun. I know that, of course, we're neighbors, so we grew up together. What do you think what do you see as the most important asset that you can give us here in Genoa?
Well, I'm very open. I don't mind asking questions, let alone getting answers. I like to get things done if possible. If not, I have an answer why I couldn't. And if we couldn't, we have an answer why we couldn't. The other part is, I've been in business all my life, so I have that experience of dealing with committees, people, and not so much cities, but government agencies. So to me, this is, it's transparency. That transparency is a big issue for me. I don't think we are talking enough with our citizens out there, getting involved enough with our citizens. We need to hear more of what the issues are instead of setting our little goals or our goals for Genoa, which is good. We've done good. Brent's done good, and everybody in the past has done, and that's great for Genoa. My idea is there's more out there that people say they want and needed to be said or heard. And that is a big problem with Genoa. They're upset right now for that reason alone, and I told them I would listen and find a solution for them.
Okay.
That answer your question?
Can I just ask you something else?
Sure.
Brent and the previous mayors have all had this really good network of staying in touch with the business owners that have been here for a long time. And they have a great connection with when something happens in Genoa, whether it's a great event or a disaster, or something's broken and it's gotta be fixed, the utilities, the sewers, and they respond so quickly. And I think in my family and my neighbors and my relatives that all live in Genoa, we really love that everybody is, council, mayor, everybody is so well connected that they can respond so quickly to a little disaster, let it be even a big disaster. How would you handle some of those things? Because
The
you're
same
kind of like
way,
the
Susie.
outsider.
The same way, you must live in a nice part of town because there's a lot of people out there that are not getting that response from the Genoa government side. There are a lot of complaints out there that it's not being fixed or not looked at, not being answered. Okay, they say one thing and don't get there, it might be a while. There's a lot of upset people to fix the little things.
Well, I lived on the same block. I grew up at 312, and now I live in my grandparents' house, which is 302, one house down. So, you know, we're all pretty happy with the way the town responds.
And that's great.
And the
Genoa
way
is
that they're
doing good, we still keep
informed,
doing
you know.
good. There's nothing wrong with that. There's just some answers that need to be there's some issues that need to be answered, and they think we're not doing it, and I'm gonna stand up for that.